This is the most incredible man I've ever seen. Starting off wearing nothing but a torn pair of shorts, he evolved barehanded from the primitive age to the Iron Age. Not only did he extract iron beads from river sand, but he also used molten iron casting to forge a hammer, a chisel, an axe, and even a hunting knife. He also built a riverside hut using a bamboo joint structure. He's truly the ceiling of wilderness survival. Today, I bet your phone battery is around 60%. If I guessed right, make some noise. Don't forget to like and save after watching. If one day you travel back to the primitive age, this episode will definitely benefit you greatly. The man in front of us is called Wang Wei. This is his first day in the wild. At first glance, he spotted a small cave under a cliff. The stream nearby served as a natural barrier, and it could also keep wild animals away. But the inside was too narrow, not suitable for his 1.8-meter height. After cleaning the area, he studied the rocks above carefully. He planned to break them apart using physical force. But clearly, the rocks were too hard. Wang Wei then came up with an idea and went to the forest. He first spotted a vine. With excellent flexibility, using a stone, he split the vine open. Then, stepping on it with his size 48-foot, he began weaving. His hands moved as skillfully as if the vine were alive. After several rounds of wrapping, he quickly made a cute-looking basket. Next, he measured the length of his foot and started weaving a stylish pair of straw sandals. First, he stripped the bark clean, then tore the inner bark into thin strips. He twisted them clockwise into ropes, threaded them through the soles, and crossed them to join at the heels. Who could resist such a stylish and elegant pair of straw shoes? Wearing them during holidays or visits would make anyone look classy. Then Wang Wei found a piece of dry coconut bark, and with stones, designed a firm and upright shape. He cut the trunk, clamped in the palm leaf, and tied it with bark fibers. The combination gave him a fan spinning at tornado speed. Then he gathered several baskets of clay, piled them up according to the fan's diameter. The trunk acted as a support beam, helping the clay structure hold firm. He used his fingers to make small holes on the wall of the furnace, allowing air and fire to pass through. At a glance, the shape looked like a mix between a toilet and a squat pit. To become the king of the wild, you must first master fire making. Wang Wei struck stones against each other, cracking the raw stone open. He attached it to a wooden stick and fixed it with bark rope. After tightly winding the rope around the stick, he pulled both ends outwards simultaneously, making the stick spin rapidly. He carved a groove on the shaft and fixed a sharp stone to it. Isn't that basically a primitive drill? Wood was easily handled in minutes. He tied both rope ends to the wood, and by pushing and pulling, the tool spun automatically. This also prevented his delicate hands from getting blisters. Next, he demonstrated starting a fire by friction. Seeing him live so freely in the wild makes me want to go camping too. But during the holidays, hotel and ticket prices really hurt the wallet. Luckily, my friend told me, open the Tongcheng Travel Mini Program. Tap the top right corner at 2, and you can claim a 2,888 yuan travel coupon. It's an exclusive National Day Travel Red Packet. Then book the trip you want. If you can't get train tickets, they'll compensate 69 yuan for staying at chain hotels. And flight tickets, buy one, get the second half off. Saving even a little helps a lot. While the furnace was drying, Wang Wei found a naturally fallen coconut. He violently cracked it open. Though it had no flesh or coconut juice inside, it still worked perfectly as a bowl. Then came the crucial moment. First, he collected this kind of mud. RICH and iron elements. Unexpectedly, Wang Wei was stepping into the Iron Age on day 1. Smelting iron involves 3 steps: crushing charcoal, reducing iron oxide into iron, add mud to lower the melting point of iron elements, knead them directly into clay balls. Place them on the furnace for high temperature baking. Continue collecting clay. Start stacking the base and dig a few air inlets. Gather dry firewood for ignition. Seal it all with clay. As the flames burn downward, seal off every outlet completely. It looks like a small smoking mound of earth. After 1 day, shiny charcoal can be dug out. Put all the high-quality charcoal into the furnace. Add the 4 clay balls. At this time, the furnace temperature has reached 1,200 C. Add charcoal every 10 minutes continuously. After 4 hours, the clay balls containing iron elements were finally fired. Remove the red-hot slag. Cool it down with water for annealing. Wang Wei was pleasantly surprised to find small iron beads attached to the slag. Things worthless in the city now seemed incredibly precious to him. Then he kept working tirelessly, repeating the same process for an entire week. He finally collected up to 2 kilograms of iron. To melt the iron completely, he needed to make a container. Wang Wei mixed charcoal and clay together, which can prevent cracking later. Then he shaped the bottom of the container. Next, he used the traditional coil building method, stacking ring by ring upwards. The gaps between the coils were smoothed out by hand. Finally, he refined the outer shape smoothly, then dried it beside the furnace. After 6.6 hours, he placed it into the furnace. After 4 hours of high temperature, it turned completely red hot. Does this sound nice? A nice sound means a good pot. Now, the iron smelting officially begins. Wang Wei preheated the dry pot in the furnace. When the temperature reached 1200 C, he added 1 pound of iron beads. Then he continuously added charcoal. Using his strong arms, he worked the air blower. Wang Wei is 30 years old, with 50 years of furnace experience. While waiting for the iron to melt, he found a piece of firm clay. He carved out the shape of a small knife on it. 5 hours later, the furnace temperature increased. All the iron melted completely. Wang Wei carefully removed it with a wooden stick. Since the molten iron solidifies quickly, he had to act fast and precisely. After the mold cooled down, he gave it a cold water bath. Tempering the blade increased its hardness. A knife never sharpened isn't a good tool. It must go through a custom polishing process. The blade became thinner and thinner, and its gleaming shine meant a true tool was born. He easily cut through a 1-year-old tree, which became the knife handle. He wrapped it tightly with vines. This was Wang Wei's first iron tool. Next, he melted another 2 pounds of iron beads, and on clay he carved the shapes of a hammer and a chisel. After cooling, he removed the iron blocks. The hammer required no polishing, but the chisel needed some fine work. He used a forked piece of wood to make the hammer handle. With the chisel and hammer combined, even ancient rocks could be pried open. With tools ready, it was time to build a shelter. To fit his 1.8-meter height, he had to remove some rock from the cave. Wang Wei spread mud on the ground to keep it insulated. Then he lit a campfire on top. The high heat caused the ceiling rocks to crack. Anyone knows why this happens? The rocks become soft after heating. With his hammer and chisel combo, he easily broke them down. This stress-relieving activity would cost money in the city, but here, he could enjoy it for free. Now the space beneath the rock was 2 to 3 times larger than before. It was now big enough to live in. But this spot still felt a bit uncomfortable. Wang Wei brought 18 baskets of soil from nearby. He moistened it with river water. His hands instantly turned into a mixer. Then he flattened the soil, covering the gravel on the ground. But that was far from enough. A marble floor has always been the symbol of a wilderness king, using these flat stones for flooring. Cool in summer, warm in winter, how luxurious. Then, according to the shapes of the stones, he made them fit together as closely as possible, minimizing the gaps between them. This technique clearly shows a seasoned tile master. Once the entire floor was covered with stone, it was time for iron forging again. From the mold, it was obvious a new axe was about to be born. The process was the same as before. Melt the iron and pour it into the mold. Give the axe a 360-degree flawless massage, then attach a perfectly fitted handle to it. Now the hard days begin. He picked pine trees thicker than his thigh, first striking with the axe, then using his weight for an overwhelming advantage. Next, he gave them a full exfoliation, processing them behind the scenes. Using the 5-bottle-length measuring method, he measured the required length of timber. Then, using a chisel, carved out grooves for fitting. No nails were needed for the connections, just matching holes carved precisely. Based on the size of each hole, he made multiple wooden pegs, then aligned and secured each piece firmly. Afterward, Wang Wei brought the timber to the foundation. The logs were connected end to end, forming the base frame of the wooden house. After inserting the pegs, he shaved off the excess parts. Wang Wei measured the length of the foundation frame, then cut the pine logs accordingly. Acting as both designer and craftsman, he shaped the wood with his axe. He chiseled holes in each wooden block for connecting with the wooden pegs. He repeated this process for the rest. Then aligned the peg positions carefully, chiseling corresponding holes on the base frame. After that, he fitted each block and used his handmade hammer to tighten their bond. Each wooden block followed the same process. Wang Wei's perfectionism was evident. The blocks fit seamlessly, leaving no gaps at all. The wood was staggered for added strength. And for a cleaner, more beautiful look, a doorway gap was left between the logs. Before stacking further upward, Wang Wei carried a heavy timber beam, perfect to fill the space above the fireplace. After setting the final beam, it was time to make the door. Again, a peeling and chiseling combo. He hammered wooden pegs into the frame, laying the boards one by one. Then he sharpened the door's bottom hinge and attached it to the door, a hole chiseled at the threshold. Allow the hinge to slot in perfectly. The door swung smoothly, moving effortlessly. For full privacy and protection, a roof was essential. He fixed the eaves posts in the same way, using vines to tie and support the tiles. As for roofing material, just find what works. These flat stone slabs were light yet sturdy. Though their shapes weren't perfect, Wang Wei used a stick as a straight edge, scoring the stone repeatedly with a knife, around 77,849 times. Then, with a light tap on the back, the stone split neatly along the line. Just like that, he got perfectly square tiles. Using his handmade drilling tool, he carved round holes into the tiles. Then, threading bark made ropes. He tied each tile to the roof. The placement was crucial. Each tile overlapped tightly and precisely, preventing any rain leakage. Now the house was done, but it stood under a cliff, making travel inconvenient. He could only swing across like on a rope swing. After some thought, Wang Wei decided to build a personal bridge of his own. First, he collected 5 thigh-thick pine logs and began stripping their bark, then used a chisel to dig holes. He hammered in self-made wooden pegs and inserted a connecting beam. Wang Wei is 38 years old this year, with 50 years of carpentry experience in less than 2 days. He completed the bridge, using vines to fix the bridge at the proper angle. The other side of the bridge was supported by wooden beams. Then Wang Wei immediately made a crossbeam and wedged it between the bridge decks. The entire structure became extremely solid. Does anyone know what principle this uses? But this was still far from a finished wooden bridge. He had to remove the protruding parts of the beams and fix the supports on both sides using mortise and tenon joints. Wang Wei found decades-old pine logs to serve as the bridge flooring supports. He fixed them onto the bridge, chiseled grooves at the end of the beams, hammered in the wooden pegs, then chiseled matching holes into the other beam. When combined, the two were firmly connected. The rest of the process was much simpler. He cut all the boards to equal length, drilled holes into each plank. The beams also had to matching grooves. Wooden pegs firmly joined the two together. One by one, he laid them down. The entire bridge looked neat and majestic, without a single flaw. The staircase was connected using the same method to protect his own life. He also made handrails, sharpened both ends of the wood, inserted them into the grooves of the bridge, measured carefully, and continued chiseling on the handrail post, then connected the two parts together. Though the height was a bit questionable, it didn't seem to offer much protection. After building the house and bridge, Wang Wei finally had time to think about food. He mixed charcoal powder into clay, then shaped the mud, patting and molding it by hand. He formed it into the shape of a plate. Such craftsmanship can't be done without 50 years of skill. He placed the plate beside the furnace, dried it before firing it, then baked it with strong fire. The fierce flame had to burn for hours. The next day, Wang Wei took out his masterpiece. After washing it in river water, the ceramic plate revealed its stunning beauty. To match its elegance, Wang Wei, for the first time ever, prepared a proper meal. He poured some wild water into the plate, placed it inside the fireplace to roast. The small fish sizzled and oozed oil. Wild chili peppers have always been his favorite. He chopped them and spread them over the grilled fish. Finally, he added a flower symbolizing love. Wang Wei sat cross-legged and began to enjoy his meal. With such craftsmanship, I seriously suspect he's a caveman who traveled through time.